Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening.
Hold one, Andre.
You're not good at this. Get out. Let me tell you a personal story about Vince McMahon.
You just made the list.
Oh my God!
Sorry, no speak English.
Dummy. Goodbye and good night. Hold two, on bar.
It's still real to me, damn it!
Dummy.
This is the worst town I've ever been in.
Hold three, Lamas covered, three-handle family credential.
Mamma mia!
And now, Unchained.media presents the B Plus Podcast with your host, Greg Unchained.
It's me, Austin! It was me all along, Austin!
Number 4, Armbar.
I will never retire!
I still got 200 more. I got 200 more holes to list.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the B Plus Podcast. Today is Saturday, and you know what that means. It's time for a view from the WWE Universe. I am your host this week, C-Jaii, and once again I am welcomed by Bug Boy Mikey. Mark.
No, it's Big Boy. No, this Bug Boy thing's gonna stick, and I don't like it.
It has stuck.
I don't like Marky either, but
It's stuck.
I'm confident I can get rid of the Marky part pretty quickly, but the Bug Boy thing I feel is stuck.
Yeah, definitely. Mate, we're going to get straight into it this week. We've had a lackluster week this week with WWE. 10 hours of performance, as always. Was, of course, better than Impact, because we're not going to spend 20 minutes talking about Darius going to 7-Eleven for a VB.
Yeah, and we know exactly what fucking Thanksgiving is.
That's exactly right.
Regular
Speaking of Thanksgiving, we are opening... Yeah, the regular J guy from the Impact cast, man, he has no idea.
But how do you not know what Thanksgiving is? Like,
No, that's exactly right. But apparently, Impact doesn't know wrestling either. So they kind of fit in there.
I got to stay on the fence for that one, but in terms of C-Jaii and calling me whipped, yeah, bastard.
Mate, regular J, not C-Jaii. You're talking to me right now.
Yeah, sorry, yeah, regular J. All right, but let's get into Raw.
Let's get into it. And speaking of what we're thankful for, we are thankful for 10 hours of WWE each week for what we watch, so you don't have to. With opening with Monday Night Raw, Corbin, Lashley, and Drew opening the show, of course, in the ring. The last 4 out of 5 weeks on Raw have been opened with some sort of Baron Corbin segment, so it's kind of getting boring now, and we need something new. Please?
Yeah, we got something. Well, we did get something new. I mean, Drew and Dolph are no longer a thing. There's just
No Dogs of War now.
no Dogs
It's
of
done.
War.
That's exactly right. Drew McIntyre's about to copy his monster of a push, and Drew McIntyre's getting buried by Seth Rollins, but we'll get into that.
Yeah.
So we get a constant recap of the attacks from last week, so what was happening with Braun Strowman with his Braun Strowman with his elbow injury, which of course was announced that it was very successful this week. No time frame on his return as of yet, but we do have confirmation that he'll probably be alright by come Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
So hopefully he's back by TLC.
Yeah.
So we get
Be interesting to see what they do with that, but the TLC.
definitely. It's going to be one of those storylines that are going to have to come out of the woodworks and just be planned on the day, I think.
Yeah, well, that's every day for WWE anyway, so it's all good.
Yeah, true. We get, of course, because it is Thanksgiving, Baron Corbin, Bobby Lashley, and Drew McIntyre all say what they are thankful for. So Baron is thankful that he is doing a fantastic job as acting Raw General Manager. Bobby Lashley is thankful for the beta males in the audience. Drew saying that he is thankful for the beating that he gave Braun Strowman. Then they rolled the recap. And then as they're talking about anyone who's going to stand up against Baron Corbin as general manager is going to start looking deep. Like Baron Corbin will look like paper cuts compared to what they'll do. So there's a big threat going out there.
Yeah, I like it.
But my favourite thing is when Elias comes out, the lights go out, and then Corbin loses his mind. Elias comes out, claims that Leo Rush would be a better general manager as Corbin. However, that would violate all sorts of child labour laws. Best line of the night.
Elias is a shining light on the piece of poop that is Raw lately, but anyway.
Oh yeah, guaranteed. I think just putting Elias in the ring for half an hour on a mic would do better than just about any other Impact show at the moment.
Oh yeah. Big time.
So Elias has this little song that he's singing, and he actually gets the crowd to sing Bobby Lashley Sucks, which was fantastic, which leads into a Bobby versus Elias match, where this is the first match of the night. Elias and Lashley go back and forth. Elias actually gets pretty much what you see the count would be 3. As the ref nearly hits the 3 count, Leo pulls the ref out of the ring. Leo Rush, of course, because he's at ringside being the hype man. Pulls the ref out of the ring. Corbin restarts the match as a no DQ because the ref calls it off. And then McIntyre hits a Claymore, and then Lashley wins because it's a dumb result. So, match 1 of the night. Then, of course, Alexa Bliss has announced that she's seeing the entire women's division for Monday Night Raw. So, potentially, because she knows that everyone wants those women tag team titles, are we getting them? Please.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me to see if this is something they aim for soon.
Yeah, definitely. They're hinting at it so much now, and I'm really excited to see it. I want to know how they can build it.
Yeah.
So we get the next match of the night, which is Lucha House Party versus the Revival in a Lucha House Party rules match, which is basically just a 3-on-2 handicap match. And Lucha House Party win, burying the Revival once again.
Fuck the Revival.
Then you... Fuck the Revival. Then you get a nice little recap again of the Becky Lynch face break. A Lars package. Once again, where is he going?
Yeah.
It was announced that both Raw and SmackDown are fighting for him, but where is he going?
Well, rumor has it, the reports I read today from my Uncle Dave and his Wrestling Observer crew, reports are that potentially they're going to allow him to run rampant on both rosters and sort of play a bit of a monster, sort of like Kane in the mid-90s when he first debuted and just destroyed everyone sort of thing. So I think it's going to be across both. I have a feeling, though, in the end it will be Raw as a quick replacement for for Braun.
Yeah, they could replace Brock too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you're right. I think we'll see him on Raw. I like the idea of having him slam between the two. Even if he stays with 3 and actually every now and again appears on NXT TV, just demolishes anyone who's in his way. Like,
yeah,
I think it'd definitely be a really good way for a Monster heel run. Potentially pushing him straight to the mid-card championship and demolishing Seth Rollins.
Yeah, and you can tell that they're going to be putting the rocket on him too. Just the way that Michael Cole even did the whole Cord Sullivan, the most sought-after free agent in WWE history. Like, come on, like, he's good.
Yeah, that's exactly
good,
right. It's definitely going to be something.
Oh yeah. Lars will be headlining the next 5 WrestleManias.
Oh, please don't. I like it when there's change.
Yeah.
Not more this Hogan and Roman stuff. Like, sick and tired of it. So then we get Little Nia Jax promo in the ring saying that she's thankful for herself because, of course, it's Thanksgiving, so everyone's thankful. Saying that she's going to take everything from Ronda. It started with her chance at facing Becky Lynch. Now it's going to end with Nia Jax taking the title at TLC. And that Ronda has been on a downhill run. Ronda doesn't like what she's saying. She comes out, says Nia's luck has run out, and that the only reason that she's as bad as she is because Becky Lynch made her the hashtag facebreaker. So in a sense, Becky once again made another person, just like she made Charlotte Flair.
Yep.
So Ronda obviously wants to fight. Nia is sort of trying to talk her out of it, just buying time. Ronda gets herself surrounded by Tamina as well. Looks like it's going to be a 2-on-1 till Natalya's music hits. Looks like it's going to be a 2-on-2 until Riot Squad come out of nowhere, demolishing Natalya. Ronda fighting them off to end the segment, so it seems to be that they're still going with this Riot Squad Natalya feud, as well as trying to mix it with the Nia Tamina. So it's so confusing how they're doing this, but I like how they're actually entwining the storyline.
Yeah, it's a way that they used to do stories back in the day. They'd always try and intertwine a feud, but it can get messy. But I mean, what, it's 7 women, so as long as most of the women are getting spots on the card as much as possible, I'm happy with them being interlaced with their foods, so that's fine.
Yeah. Then we get AOP versus Rude and Gable in a tag team title match due to Rude and Gable's win last week. Drake Maverick, absolutely hilarious. I don't know why they're doing piss jokes all of a sudden, but this week was actually kind of funny. During the match, during the tag team title match, Drake steals Bobby Roode's robe, takes it to the backstage, doing his whole glorious stuff on the way up the ramp as well, and then he ends up in the bathroom with a camera, because whoever wants to be followed with a camera into the bathroom, that's illegal in most states. Someone should be charged. But Drake kicks the $10,000 robe into the toilet and then apparently pisses on it and flushes it. So obviously this feud's not over.
No, and yeah, I'm a little bit more on the fence on this one. I don't know. I think the whole piss joke thing with Drake Mavericks just a little bit childish. I know it's a PG show, but it's a little bit like, do you need toilet humor in wrestling? But anyway.
Yeah, I guess you could say this is it's a tiny little flashback to the glorious days of the Attitude Era.
Yeah,
See what I did there?
Yeah, fair enough. I like it.
So that's probably what they're trying to do. I don't know if it's working, but
yeah, well, it's pissing me off.
I suppose they've got to do something.
Yeah.
Mate, any of these pun jokes and you're in trouble.
I'm a dad joke and I'm not even a dad.
That's alright, mate. That's alright. We're all dad jokes.
I'm
here.
supposedly the Jerry Gogich of this bloody B+ family anyway, so fantastic.
That's exactly right. So we get Alicia Fox with Jinder Mahal and the Singh brothers at ringside versus Ember Moon and her new mixed match challenge partner Kurt Hawkins. Of course, Ember Moon quickly squashes Fox in a decently timed match. As Fox and Hawkins, Ember Moon and Hawkins are leaving the ring, No Way Jose finally gets TV time, making his way out to the ring, and then has a really quick match with Jinder Mahal. Well, quick, it was a decent matchup. Jinder Mahal winning, of course. That was pretty much No Way Jose's first time in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Haven't seen him around for a while, so it was good to see him on TV again. In his conga line of music.
Yeah.
And then we get the Seth Rollins Open Challenge. This was pretty much like the only decent thing in the week, because I'm like, hey, maybe we'll get something different. Maybe we'll get an actual decent match.
Yeah.
Nope. We got Dolph Ziggler versus Seth Rollins for the umpteenth time this year.
And seriously, the first maybe 10 minutes of the match was bullshit. The last 5 minutes, 6 minutes was really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it could have been anything. Like, that's where not that Lars, but this is a spot where you could have brought someone up from NXT. You know, like something a little bit different, something fresh. But anyway, it is what it is.
Yeah, that's exactly right. They could have given this spot to anyone just for the sake of having the match. Like, you're right, NXT call-up. Could you imagine if, say, Adam Cole or Ricochet answered the challenge. Like, that would be pretty boss.
Right. Exactly right.
Or even just a random 205 guy.
Yeah. Just give him a fighting chance, like a Canellis or something, just for the sake of it, But anyway, it is what it is.
Yeah, we all knew that Seth was going to win.
Right, of course.
But I reckon, though, that if this does not get Feud of the Year at the Slammy Awards, I'm going to riot.
Like the Riot Squad?
This thing has gone on all year. They've constantly made it like updated with different moves and stuff, including Seth Rollins winning with the Falcon Arrow this week, which was just about unheard of. Since when does that ever finish a match?
Yeah, and we should touch on the rumors that are floating around that Seth Rollins' curb stomp has been banned once again. This is false. Seth has come out today and claimed that no, they are false rumors. However, that's what happened last time. So we don't really know. But,
yeah, true.
Yeah.
True. I guess superstars can't actually flat out say, yeah, my move was banned, so I have to find something new.
Yeah.
They highly can't say it. It's just, I reckon we'll see him to start using the ripcord knee a bit more. Shout out to Kenny Omega and the Falcon Arrow now.
For sure.
Definitely. So, of course, we see Seth Rollins retaining the Intercontinental Championship from Dolph Ziggler, who's still on TV. Even though he's just overcome a foot injury, which is, I didn't even know he was injured, but cool.
Yeah.
So then we get the in-ring segment with Alexa Bliss, Sasha, and Bayley having this little Q&A session. Apparently this was a thing.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Boring. As much as I love Alexa Bliss on the mic, just didn't do it.
No, definitely did.
This whole segment was kind of boring. It was a reason to have Alicia Fox, Dana Brooke, and Mickey James jump the Boston Hug connection.
And when did Dana Brooke turn heel?
Yeah, that's another thing. That's actually one thing that we didn't touch on was Starrcade. But on Starrcade, Dana Brooke was actually on the same team as Sasha and Bayley.
Oh, yeah.
They were on the same team at Starrcade earlier in the week.
That's true.
But on here, she played a heel. She's having more heel turns than Big Show at this point.
Well, wait till we get to Smackdown. We'll talk about that one. But yeah.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. But then we get to the final match of Monday Night Raw with Baron Corbin versus Finn Balor. They go back and forth. It looks like Finn's actually going to win it. Baron Corbin changes the match to a handicap, entering Drew McIntyre because he has to get into the ring at some point during the night. And then Baron Corbin and Drew McIntyre win by demolishing Finn.
Yeah.
Bobby Lashley comes out for reasons and attacks Finn, and that pretty much ends the show.
So what? So new three little man stable. Well, four man stable with Leo Rush in there, but it looks like it's going to be Lashley, Corbin, and McIntyre.
Actually, no. Yeah, I like the idea of the 3-man stable, but I've got a new name for them: 3.5 Men.
Yeah. I like
so,
that.
3.5 Men open and close the show this week.
3.5 Men. I like it.
So that was it for Raw. Out of 5 stars, mate, what would you give it?
I'm going to give it a nice 1.5.
Oh, mate, being generous, I'd give it half a star.
Wow.
This was just horrendous for me, and I didn't enjoy it. And someone else who actually didn't like Monday Night Raw was Matt Hardy, taking to Twitter, tweeting out, "Those dastardly GMs are abusing their position and power on #Raw. This brand needs an extreme double dose of woken matitude. Only one man can fix a #broken Raw, and that is Matt Hardy." Are we going to see Hardy return to challenge for the general manager spot?
I could see it happening. If they're going to start getting Baron Corbin in the ring a bit more, bring Matt Hardy back onto the screen. I don't know how the dynamics would work between Matt Hardy and Alexa, but yeah, it'd be interesting to see him as a GM. Be funny.
It would be. I'd like to see Baron Corbin start defending his general manager position, just like he would with championship titles.
Yeah.
Like every second pay-per-view, it's like Baron Corbin versus Tyler Breeze for the general manager spot or something like that. Like just some ridiculous matches. That Baron Corbin 3 seconds before the bell rings is like, it's a 6-on-1 handicap match, and your left arm is taped to your right leg, and you're blindfolded with a ball gag.
Yeah, I can see that.
So Monday Night Raw was just pathetic.
Yeah. let's move on to something that wasn't too pathetic this week.
That's exactly right. Actually, let's jump into Starrcade real quick.
Okay.
This was a little segment. It was a glorified house show. We touched about it a couple of minutes ago, where there was pretty much just match after match, which was pathetic.
Yeah.
We'll run through the matches real quick. So the show opened with Alwyays having a concert. He was joined by his special guest Ric Flair, because of course it's not Starrcade without Ric Flair.
Of course.
And the skit ended with 8 women, being Sasha Banks, Bayley, Ember Moon, and Dana Brooke, defeating the team of Nia Jax, Tamina, Alicia Fox, and Mickey James, making Fox tap out to the Banks statement. This is weird, because Dana Brooke was a face here, and then like the next night she's a heel character.
Yeah. I know. It's just
what's going on, Big Show?
little show.
Little show. Yeah, you know what? Dana Brooke, little show. There we go. Then we get Drew McIntyre defeating Finn Balor.
Yeah.
The B team defeated the Revival in the night's first toilet break. And then the Bar defeated the New Day to retain the tag team titles. Baron Corbin had a little segment in the ring.
Yeah.
This is where it got interesting. This was, to me, the highlight of Starrcade. Where it was... Baron Corbin was having an in-ring thing saying that Braun Strowman's done, there's no one to challenge him. And Bray Wyatt made his return for his first match for the company since September.
Yeah. I found it very interesting.
Does this...
Yeah.
This is very interesting, because does this mean that he will fight for Matt Hardy's chance of becoming general manager?
Either that, or he did... I can't remember what social media platform. I'm pretty sure it's Twitter. Came out today, and it was yesterday, something about wanting to tag with Finn and call him the Devil and the Angel or something like that. So I don't know. Maybe he comes and saves Finn from all this getting beaten up by these 3 monster heels, and I don't know.
Oh yeah, that's a
and
thought.
that could lead into having Matt Hardy come in and take the GM spot away from Baron. So maybe Matt Hardy and Bray will be called on in replacement of Bray. Matt as a non-wrestling part, because he has to give it away, and Bray to come back in with the character. So yeah, I find it very interesting as well.
Could they become the new Brood?
Oh, could imagine.
That would be so good. And then of course we get Starrcade repeating with Charlotte Flair defeating Asuka. Miz TV segment with Rey Mysterio, The Miz, of course, and Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yeah.
So they have a little Smackdown and talk to each other, and then and then we had a little quick match of Shinsuke versus Rey, which ended up with the DQ after the Miz intervened on Nakamura's behalf. And then Rusev came to the save, creating a tag team match where Rey Mysterio and Rusev defeated Miz and Nakamura.
Yeah.
And then 2 steel cage matches of the night. Once again, AJ Styles defeating Samoa Joe via submission inside a steel cage.
Yeah.
And then we see Seth Rollins lost to Dean Ambrose. To be honest, I actually don't remember seeing that match.
No. Yeah.
Sorry. Seth Rollins defeated Dean Ambrose.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Um,
By looks of escaping the ring. I don't remember this match.
No, I'm not gonna lie. I haven't seen all of it. I got very bored very quick.
Yeah, Starrcade wasn't what it should be.
No. I hate the fact that they're using Starrcade for this. Why couldn't they use Starrcade for NXT? Yeah, NXT is a perfect place to use a couple of old school names of things. Like, not everything, it doesn't have to be everything, but just the way that they've used War Games in NXT is perfect. Like, why can't they use Starrcade for NXT? Just do like a takeover-ish special around Christmas time and call it Starrcade. Like, for NXT. Perfect.
Yeah, that would be perfect.
Yeah.
Come like December, right at the end, and be like, hey, we have NXT TakeOver Starrcade.
Yeah.
Held in New York. Oh, no, not New York.
Yeah.
No, that's somewhere.
Yeah. Like, they're in Orlando. Like, they can just keep doing it in North Carolina, which is where Starrcade's famous for anyway. Just keep it in Carolina, keep it in Georgia, keep it in, Ric Flair country, which is fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, just use it for NXT, and I don't know.
And have Ric Flair make all the matches,
Yeah,
including a woo-off with, was it Jay Lethal?
yeah, exactly. And the other man that has made Starrcade and NXT famous, is a man called Dusty Rhodes. So, it would have been a nice little thing for Dusty if they did Starrcade in it.
Yeah, have the finals of the Dusty Rhodes Classic at Starrcade.
Yeah, there you go. Look, we just booked.
Mate, we could book this better than
sure.
they can.
Anyway.
Then we get Smackdown, of course.
No, because
you were about to say something?
Smackdown.
Yeah, so we get Smackdown, of course. We get Paige opening the show, introducing the Smackdown Women's Champion, Becky Lynch. Holy hell, how over is she? That crowd went nuts.
Yeah.
So, she comes in saying she's back. She calls out Ric Flair. Too many Flairs in the company at the moment. She calls out Charlotte Flair. They get back and forth talking about who's riding whose coattails, and they're copying each other. Then Paige officially books Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch in the first ever women's TLC match for the women's championship.
Wasn't happy with this one. Okay, no, I
was pumped for
really.
this.
I wasn't. Not because of Becky. Becky should be booked in every angle and she should beat up men, women, children, everything. Becky is the best thing.
Look up your cats because Becky Lynch is going to beat them up.
All those comparisons to Stone Cold are still there. That crowd is like hot with her right now. Anyway, yeah. But with Charlotte, it's like, why is Charlotte just inserted into a title match without sort of earning it? I don't like that. There's no sort of earn there, but yes, I'm glad with what they did to it in a minute. Yeah.
Which, like you said, a few of the women actually agree with you there, Mikey. So Mandy Rose, the Iconics, Sonya Deville, and Zelina Vega came out to say, hey, look, we're sick and tired of you always handing your former PCB teammates all the shots. Because that's what it seemed like. So then Naomi, Carmella, Asuka, and Lana come out. Asuka was over at that crowd. Like, wow, even she was getting chanted. That was pretty good. But yeah, they were all saying that not only could they have beaten Ronda Rousey, but they could also beat Becky to become SmackDown Women's Champion. Becky pretty much being like, yeah, alright, come on, form a line, I'll slap the head off every one of you dopes. Like, she was all for it. I love that line, straight fire from Becky Lynch. So Paige books a Battle Royale for the main event of SmackDown. The winner gets inserted into the match at TLC.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. But then we get another fantastic promo by the Usos. Then we get a little backstage segment from earlier in the day where we have the Bar and Big Show breaking up.
Big Show with his...
Was this a
potentially
face turn?
another another notch in Big Show's 999 heel turns and face turns. So, yep.
Oh, I'm so confused with this. Like, 3 weeks ago, everyone was like, "Oh yay, he's leading the kids to victory," and then like 2 weeks after that, it's like, "Oh boo, he's joined the bar, boo," and now he's knocked Cesaro out. Everyone's like, "Oh yay, he's there."
Show bar is no more.
Oh, I don't know.
The show bar is no more.
Show bar seems to be no more. So it's exciting to see where this is going. I guess like maybe Big Show will find a tag team partner and be like, you know what? I made you win them. I'm going to make you lose them too.
Yeah, playing Nicholas at WrestleMania. But anyway.
Oh, could we have Show Miz return?
Ooh, there you go. Show Miz.
Return of Show Miz. There we go. The fantasy booking map. Then, of course, we get Usos versus the Bar. Usos getting the win. So far, it seems to be the Usos and New Day both defeating the Bar. So the Bar is on a losing streak now. It's only a matter of time before they do lose the tag team titles. They seem to be Smackdown's version of the Revival, just with a little bit more gold.
Yeah, so I imagine a triple threat match TLC, maybe, between all three teams.
Triple threat ladder match. Triple threat ladder match. Calling it right now.
Triple threat ladder match, I like it.
Then we get backstage. We have the New Day making fun of the Miz because they lost to Jobbers, and Big E revealing himself as a huge Marina. That was actually pretty funny.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but that was just great.
They're just so gold.
Then, of course, honestly, I think if you stuck Big E and the Miz like in a room together just to say whatever they wanted to say, I reckon those two would have a solid.
Oh yeah,
promo.
do you watch Up, Down, Down? The Myth is hilarious with the New Day guys.
Yes.
Like that, when he gets like all cranky about Street Fighter and stuff. It's so funny.
Yeah, I would like to see them bring that more into SmackDown, which is what looks like they're doing, which is pretty good. Then we get, of course, the AJ Styles promo, where he calls out Bryan, but Daniel Bryan isn't there, because he is now the Brock Lesnar of SmackDown Live, and he's too good to show up. He's too good to defend his championship, and he's just kind of at that point where he is the new Daniel Bryan, and he doesn't care.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what AJ Styles is saying.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. I don't know. Like, I love seeing Daniel Bryan heel, something different, but it's going to be very interesting to see how they book Bryan with this.
Yeah, definitely. Is he going to be like this, similar to like the in-between superstar, the grey space?
Yeah, he'll definitely be in the grey space. He won't be long until he's a bit more Becky-ish, where he's, Bryan is just too good of a wrestler to, I don't know, he's going to have to completely change his moveset to be a heel moveset, because his moveset is literally...
He'll just constantly kick people in the head.
His moveset is literally based around getting the fans pumped up, like when he does his kicks, and I don't know, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, definitely. So AJ is, of course, full focus heading towards into TLC, where he gets his rematch against Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship. And then coming in, we get another last package. So, of course, they're showing it everywhere at the moment. Shinsuke Nakamura versus Rusev for the United States Championship. This match actually didn't technically happen, as Rusev got attacked by Nakamura before the actual match, so does it count as a no contest, or just didn't start? Contest,
but the only funny thing that came out of this match was Rusev getting his butt shown a little bit and tweeting about it, and Nakamura laughing about it, but that's about it.
That's pretty much it, yeah. And then we get the Jeff Hardy 20th year anniversary.
Yeah.
This guy has been wrestling for 20 years.
Yeah.
This is incredible.
Yeah, big time. I wish they made a little bit more of a fuss about it. I know they did a little bit, but wish they made a bit more fuss about it. It's one thing I love about both Japanese and Mexican wrestling cultures. None of the other American shows do it, but the Japanese and Mexicans do it. They take very much pride in like 20 or 30 or 40-year birthday celebrations, and they'll do like a Legends match for them. Like, I would love to see, like, I know he's injured, but still could have had someone like a Broken Hardy appear, or a Edge and Christian, or I know Edge's mother passed away this week. Well, that would have been after this, but maybe like a leader or something to do with Jeff Hardy's past come up through this. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah.
Well, it somewhat did. Let's just quickly touch on Jeff Hardy's career accomplishments. He is a former WWE champion, former World Heavyweight champion, former United States and Intercontinental champion, a 7-time tag team champion, Grand Slam winner, but no mention of his outside appearances. Like, this frustrates me so much. I get the WWE aren't guys to be like, hey, yeah, there's another world out there. But look at what he did for Impact.
Oh, yeah, big time. Both runs. He had 2 very big runs, both in the early 2000s when TNA first opened their doors, and then again recently with the whole Broken Hardy thing and Willow and all that stuff. Like, yeah, okay, he's the second part of his run didn't turn out too well because of the whole, he was too drugged up to wrestle one night, and they had to work around that. But yeah, Jeff Hardy was a major part of the Impact roster, and yeah, to leave that out is a bit sucky. But you know what WWE's like, they don't believe anything else happens outside of their world, and
Yeah.
they're the big leagues and all this sort of stuff. So, but yeah, what a
That's exactly right.
he does. But what a fantastic career Jeff Hardy's had. Up and downs. Like, that guy's lucky to be alive. Like, self-inflicted or non-self-inflicted. Whether it's jumping off ladders or drugging himself up too much, but it feels like he's come out the other end quite a-okay. I don't know how much longer he's got left in his career. I'd say he only have about 5 years left until he probably hangs up full-time as well with Matt. You can tell he's starting to slow down a little bit, just the way that he does his...
Yeah, his moveset's slowly changing.
Twist of fate is more of a stunner thing these days. So, but good on him for 20 years. It's been a great career.
That's exactly right. Congratulations, Jeff Hardy. But, of course, during this entire segment, his past did get brought up by none other than Samoa Joe. He comes out and he was like, sorry, I'm tardy. I was out the back, popping bottles, filling glasses. But it's probably not a good idea to actually have champagne around Jeff Hardy, considering his history.
Yeah, which is interesting.
So, I am so surprised that WWE brought this up.
Because the height of this stuff was in Impact as well. So, so Joe and Hardy were in Impact at the same time, while Hardy was going through his latest, his little drug stint. So, yeah. I was very surprised that they brought this up, but I like it. Joe Hardy, seen it before 1,000 times, but I think inside a WWE ring, it's the first time ever. So, bring on the rivalry. I think that'd be good.
Yeah, it will be. Of course, Joe goes on to say that he doesn't believe in second chances. That Hardy has done pretty much 500 chances, but he hasn't gotten his first, so he's kind of frustrated. Jeff Hardy wants to fight, but Joe's like, no, you know what? Done. And walks away. So, there were a few things said in this segment which was kind of... they hit a nerve. Like, even I was kind of upset with it. With Joe turning around and saying that, yeah, it was a really nice video package. And there were great things that Jeff Hardy's done. But was he even coherent enough to even remember it?
Wow.
Like, that was a shot in the face. Like, that was pretty brutal. But, yeah, like, slowly leading into Joe vs. Hardy, which is going to be pretty good.
Time.
Definitely. Then we get the match that Miz pretty much demanded, Kofi Kingston versus The Miz, with Kofi Kingston defeating Miz by pinfall.
I love.
Few comedy bits here and there with pancakes on the turnbuckle cover.
I love Kingston doing solo stuff. I miss him being a IC or US champion. He's one of the best of all time in that. He's the best mid-card guy. I love it. I love seeing his Trouble in Paradise. It's one of the best moves in WWE. I just love it.
Oh, hell, even his SOS is a really good move. Could you imagine him hitting that on a cruiserweight guy?
Yep.
Could you imagine the sell? That would be great. Then we get Randy Orton cutting a promo saying this attack on Rey Mysterio last week was euphoric, and the Rey was just another victim. Rey Mysterio coming out, obviously not liking what he said. Randy attacks him while they're still on the ramp. Rey's actually wearing a neck brace as well, so he gets the neck brace torn off him. Rey hits 2 619s and goes for a chair, but of course he stalls and stalls and stalls and stalls. And Randy gets up and pretty much takes the chair, slamming his neck into it again. And it just seems to be... I reckon this is leading to a chairs match.
Surprise me. Yeah, wouldn't surprise me.
Seriously? On the pre-show.
Or they won't put Mysterio and Orton on a pre-show. Yeah, I mean, like, there's no title significance, so it should be. But Orton and Rey, they're not putting Randy Orton on the pre-show.
Yeah, true. Good point. So, yeah, we're slowly leading to hopefully what's going to be a chairs match. Backstage, we get The Miz going off at Shane for not being in his corner, saying that they're a family, that the World Cup trophy is their baby, and they need to be a family. I think Miz just really misses his daughter. That's all I'm getting down is, okay, apparently Shane McMahon is the mom, and the World Cup is... The World Cup trophy, I was going to say the World Cup cup. The World Cup trophy is the baby, so it's just so confusing.
Yeah.
And then we get the main event. All of the women of the Smackdown roster with Charlotte and Becky sitting at ringside. The match pretty much has a couple of comedy bits here and there. The final two being Asuka and Sonya Deville. I would have loved if Sonya Deville had a moment right here. It would have been fantastic for her. We can slowly see that she's getting built as well. She's been having a few good opportunities here and there now.
Getting built, I think so.
Again, leading to tag team championships, man.
Well, they're needed. That
would be pretty good. Definitely. Of course, the match ended with Asuka kneeing Deville in the face, winning the Battle Royale, and it's officially now Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair versus Asuka in a triple threat tables, ladders, and chairs match for the SmackDown Women's Championship.
If this match doesn't headline TLC, I'll be pissed. Has to be headline.
Okay, so here's the thing, right? There's no Universal Championship again. There's no Roman Reigns again. There's no Braun Strowman so far. So it's either got to be this triple threat match, or the WWE Championship will main event a show for the first time in what seems
I
like
think
3
the two women's titles are going to close out the show. Ronda versus Nia and
women's titles back to back.
The two women's titles are right now the most invested in feuds in a title way. Like, Brian and AJ is sort of just getting started, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's a good point. Good point.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Hey, Greg, curious question for you, man. Have you been shopping recently?
I have not.
Mate, well, I've got some good news for you. I know you're not a big fan of crowds, as most of us here at the B Plus aren't. Have you heard of Threadbox?
I have heard of Threadbox.
Man, then you would know how good they actually are. I mean, I just received my first crate, and holy moly, I'm I'm amazed. Guys, if you're listening, go check out threadbox.com.au, and they have everything from hats to socks to shirts to pants. It's fantastic. With email to a personalized stylist and customizable crates, it's honestly one of the best things I've had. I don't know about you, Greg, but I really enjoy it.
I got a crate the other day, and they gave me new jeans, a couple of new shirts, and the cool thing is, one of the shirts I tried it on, and it was a little bit long for me, and I thought this accentuates how short I am in person, and so I sent them an email, and I was just like, hey. This shirt, I feel like it makes me look really short because I'm kind of short. And they were like, send it back. We'll give you something else next month, like an extra thing. So I'm going to send that shirt back. And then next month, they're going to send me out something else. And I said to them, I've got lots of shirts. And they were like, well, we'll send you some accessories. And that's how Threadbox do it. It's kind of fantastic.
See, how good's that? And with our special code, the B+15 at checkout, actually saves all our fans 15% at checkout on their first box. How cool is that?
Yeah, so head to threadbox.com.au today and use the code the B+15 to get your first box as soon as you can. We are all WWE fans here. It's why we're here, listening to this show and spending inordinate amounts of hours consuming, complaining, and just generally eating, sleeping, and breathing professional wrestling. But if you want to take that to the next level, the only place to do it is WrestleMania 35 in the city so nice that they named it twice New York. And our new friends at All Aussie Travelers are going to help you make that happen in the best way possible. They are new to the wrestling travel game, granted, but they have over 15 years experience in sports and event tours between the US and Australia, so you know you're in good hands. They want to offer you an exclusive WrestleMania package, including return flights to the USA, 6 nights at the New Yorker Hotel right next to Times Square. And the thing that sets these packages apart are the VIP suites that AAT have secured for WrestleMania. So that's, of course, the Raw after WrestleMania. So not only are you going to go to the Hall of Fame, not only are you going to go to WrestleMania 35, but for NXT TakeOver, SmackDown Live, and the Raw immediately after WrestleMania that next night, you are going to be in an exclusive VIP suite that is not normally available to the public. But AAT, they got it locked down. They got it waiting for you with your name on it, your own private entrance, your own private toilets and bar, as well as an unparalleled view in the most comfortable seats in the house. You can experience WrestleMania weekend like never before, all at really competitive prices. So head over to All Aussie Travelers on Facebook, hit that like button, send him a message, send an email to Jack, that's JAAK, at allaussie.com.au, and let them know the B Plus sent you.
But before we move on to NXT, this is where I've got a bit of fantasy booking here, and I want to get your opinion on this. Say, for example, Ronda Rousey's match is actually first. Ronda and Charlotte have been bitching at each other like over the 2 shows since Survivor Series. I can see now Ronda's having her match with Nia Jax. Charlotte Flair gets involved and attacks Ronda during the match, causing the disqualification, so Ronda retains. Right? And then she gets the absolute shits, like that. The Becky Lynch comes down and starts beating up Ronda. So we've got this 2-on-1 situation. Next thing you know, you have Shayna Baszler coming to the aid. Or Ronda Rousey costs Becky and Flair the SmackDown Women's Championship, giving Asuka her first reign, copping the beatdown, and then we get Shayna Baszler to defend.
I kind of thought that Asuka's actually going to win this anyway, the SmackDown title, the Women's title. I kind of think that then Becky wins the Rumble. Yeah, and and then he goes on to challenge Ronda via that.
And then,
which means that we'd probably get Charlotte Asuka too. I don't know. That's something that they're thinking of booking or anything like that, or if it's even what people are interested in. But
well, technically, it'd be Charlotte Asuka 3 because they just had a match at Starrcade too.
True. So it's something that they could do. I don't know, because they need to do Becky Ronda Mania. Like they got to pull that trigger. They can't muck around with anything else. It's a feud of the year, in my opinion. It's got to be done. The match has got to be done at Mania main event. It's got to be done. And then that leads. So you'd think that Becky needs, even though they're saying that they want Ronda on SmackDown. So who knows? Maybe Ronda comes and challenges Becky on SmackDown. Who knows?
Yeah, you never know. It'd be pretty good.
Yeah.
Either way, it'd still work well. Before we head over to NXT, I do want to touch on something real quick. A lot of the main roster stars have currently been rumored that their contracts are coming to an end. Those guys being Gallows and Anderson, AJ Styles. Daniel Bryan apparently might have his contract coming up soon somewhere. And this is all in light of what seems to be All Elite Wrestling.
Yeah.
Now, I just want to touch on this real quick. I know Greg will probably hit this on All the Rest, or Mr. Mysterious will hit this on All the Rest. But I find that this needs to be talked about from a WWE side of things as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we could lose everyone.
Well, yeah, I mean, we touched on it a little bit with the on the King of Sports universe because it's potentially it's very not damaging, but it could also impact New Japan, Ring of Honor, especially because Ring of Honor are going to lose a lot of guys through this. And there is people in WWE. There is like this little fantasy poster that's going along that shows like the perfect roster for All Elite Wrestling, and some of it's potential, some of it's highly likely, some of it's just dreaming with like AJ and that. So let's just run down through AJ, Shinsuke, Gallows and Anderson all had their contracts up February, I think it is. I think it's all around the same time. I think it's 4 years since they've joined the WWE universe.
Sounds about right.
4 or 3 or whatever it is. Yeah, 4-year contract. I think it was a 4-year contract. So they're all up. AJ wants a lighter schedule, right? So he's demanding a lighter schedule. They don't want him to have a lighter schedule. That he's too much of a star. He wants to slow down. He ain't going back to New Japan. Like, fans can get that out of his head. He ain't going back to Japan. He's not going to go back to like a Ring of Honor or Impact. A place like All Elite Wrestling has something to offer him. If they can give him the same money and the same status, but give him a bit of a not Brock, but maybe like a Jericho Brock type feel, allow him to spend more time with his family, have it built in America. That's an easy one. Shinsuke doesn't want to go back to Japan. He's spent a lot of time moving his family over to America. So whether he stays in WWE or he goes to All Elite Wrestling, that's where I see him at. I don't see him going anywhere else. Gallows and Anderson, they could probably go, especially Anderson. I'd say Anderson would go back to Japan though, but their ties with the All Elite guys will probably lead him back to the All Elite. Then we got Hideo's contract ending soon. If he goes anyway, he's going to go back to Noah anyway. He's loyal. He's loyal like Park. Park went straight back to Dragon Gate sort of thing, so he'd go there. Look, the potential for All Elite to be something special, and there are potential other talents on the rosters that are being overused, and that could get looking like. I've always said there's a couple of people like a Curtis Axel that I would have loved to see in New Japan. He fits that US third generation guy in Japan. Yeah, perfect. Sort of like him.
No, that's exactly right.
Bo and Bray, Matt and Jeff. Like Matt and Jeff have always said they wanted to face the Young Bucks one more time. So I don't know.
I think that's the only way that they're going to get it. To be honest, is through All Elite Wrestling.
So it's going to be very interesting times. We're probably going to touch on it nearly every podcast in the next 3 months because
probably
Ring of Honor are re-signing people, WWE are signing people. Everyone's sort of going into contract mode, and so the next 4 months are going to be full on with all these sort of news. But it's going to be very interesting times.
What's your opinion on the potential of a CM Punk return to the professional wrestling scene not so much being an in-ring competitor, but there's talks of him joining JR on commentary.
Yeah, I've seen this rumor. I think he shot it down pretty quickly, but I would actually like CM Punk as a commentator because I'm weirdly a fan of my god, I just had a name blank. Beastmaster. Okay, and
But it's that show. It's that show. People know what we're talking about.
Yeah, so I've heard that rumor about CM Punk. I know he shut it down. I would actually love it because I've seen him as a commentator on the Beastmaster, Ultimate Beastmaster on Netflix. He's actually really entertaining. Yeah, he's actually really entertaining. So yeah, I mean, if he wanted to, I mean, he's been out of the wrestling game for 7 years now, 6 years, but as a commentator or even as a backstage consultant, as a booker or something, because he's a creative guy. So I hope
that's exactly right.
I hope this does entice him back in. If he wants to stay retired from it, that's fine. I understand, but yeah, of course I'll always want to see him back.
Definitely. So that pretty much again makes up SmackDown and some of the rumors. We move on to Mixed Match Challenge because it is directly after SmackDown Live.
Yep.
So we get Maha Alicia, so of course the team of Alicia Fox and Jinder Mahal, versus Ember Moon and her new partner, Kurt Hawkins. Everyone knows that Kurt Hawkins hasn't won a match in WWE in years. So this actually got me invested because I was like, oh hey, maybe because of Ember Moon he might actually win. Nope. No. Unfortunately, Maha Alicia get the victory over Hawkins and Moon, which is really funny considering Ember Moon and Braun Strowman were favourites to win this season. But of course, with the injury, it's kind of just buried Ember Moon for Mixed Match Challenge. It's kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
And then we get Country Dominance. So Mickey James and Bobby Lashley, we're going up against Finn Balor and Bayley. Of course, Team B&B defeated Country Dominance. So Bayley pinning Mickey James to score the pinfall.
Yeah, very interesting that.
Yeah, definitely. So we see that. Pretty much leads to next week. Next week matches are the SmackDown matches where we have... next week matches, we have Jeff Hardy and Charlotte Flair because Hardy has taken over AJ's spot. Versus R-Truth and Carmella, which will consist of 2 dance breaks, 1 drug overdose, and a woo.
More than likely.
Then we get Team Asuka, The Miz and Asuka versus Uskolo. I don't know if they've got a name, I actually can't tell. Jimmy Uso and Naomi. That is booked for next week in the semi-finals. And then, of course, we get the final at TLC. So far, from what I've seen, it seems to be okay. Mixed Match Challenge was alright this week.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. You telling me this stuff about Mixed Match Challenge is the first I've heard about it. It's the one thing I don't spend. I don't do 10 hours. I do 9 hours. Mixed Match is just one thing that I'm sort of been skipping on. I know it's not as bad as people make it sound to be. I think it's actually quite decent, but there's only so many hours in a week.
You do the... yeah, you do the 8.5 to 9 where everyone else was like, I want to do the 4. That's the YouTube highlights of Raw, maybe a couple of hours of SmackDown.
Yeah, I know.
So, of course, some of us here at the V Plus watch 10 hours of WWE. I apparently happen to be one of them.
I do 9. That's enough.
So, moving on to 205 Live, we get a quick match between Mike Kanellis and Noam Dar. Loser House Party come out to interfere or distract for some reason. I don't know what Loser House Party was thinking. They have no right to come out here and interrupt this match. They're just being annoying with their masks and their fancy dancy little noisemakers and their llamas, and Kalisto with a kick to the head, stunning Mike Kanellis, letting Noam Dar hit the knee. And then we get the pin. So Noam Dar defeating Mike Kanellis thanks to the Loser House Party.
Yeah, which is very interesting. I thought Noam Dar would actually be someone that would join the other side of this team, but anyway.
Yeah, this was just... I don't know. I really don't like how Lucha House Party is now on 2 shows. I was annoyed with them being on 1 because I don't like them as a team. But I don't know. That's just me. Then we get a quick segment backstage with Akira Tozawa and Brian Kendrick doing a punching glove thing, and Brian Kendrick absolutely demolishing Akira Tozawa's hand. That sounds bad if I put it like that. That sounded really bad. He's punching the hand. He's punching Akira Tozawa's hand, which is covered by a boxing glove.
Yeah.
Picturing it to be Drew Gulak's face. Because it was revealed later on in the show that Drew Gulak and Brian Kendrick have a match next week.
Yes.
So I'm pretty excited for this. I'm not gonna lie, like, I wasn't hugely excited for this, but the build has been pretty good.
Yeah, I agree. I liked it.
So then we get Hideo Itami's return to 205 Live since suffering his loss to Mustafa Ali, defeating the jobber Levi Cruz. I think it's Levi Cruz.
Yeah, Levi Cruz, I think it was. Yeah.
My apologies to the jobber if I butchered that. Hideo, of course, winning and then attacking the jobber, and then Arya Daivari makes his return.
Yeah.
Now, this is a guy I completely forgot was even signed to the WWE.
Yeah. It's good to see Arya.
I had no idea he was there.
Yeah, it's good to see Arya back. I actually like Daivari.
See, I wasn't too... I don't know. During his time, I just was never sold on it. But seeing as he's now stating that he respects Hideo Itami, he has shaken the hand of the Japanese legend. Potentially, I might pay attention to this guy. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Another little tag team for 205. I like it.
Yeah, definitely. Then we get another backstage segment. TJP and Drake Maverick are having a talk saying that TJP is done with Lucha House Party. He wants what he deserves, which is his Cruiserweight Championship match. Mike Kanellis storms in saying like he's done with Lucha House Party. He's had enough. TJP is now officially going to help him. Then we get a tornado tag match set for next week. Lucha House Party versus Mike Kanellis and TJP.
Yeah.
So again, it's a 3-on-2 handicap match.
Yeah. I reckon that turns into a 6-man and they bring out a third person, but we'll see.
I'm right with you there. But who do you reckon it could be?
I reckon Noam Dar. Noam Dar like turns there. Not turns, he was already heel. But I reckon he sort of sides with them for maybe like the Cleavestone not getting involved in his match or something like that. I don't know. I could see that happening. But I mean,
yeah, could potentially work.
Yeah.
And then we get the match of the night, which this is my match of the week. 16 Reasons Why, the Cruiserweight Champion Buddy Murphy and Tony Nese versus Cedric Alexander and Mustafa Ali.
Yeah, this is a fun tag match. I really enjoyed this.
This really, really was. Apart from the botch, of course, where Buddy Murphy actually fell off the ropes and like smashed his face on the turnbuckle, that looked painful.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll be on Botchamania very quick.
Yeah, definitely. So this was a fantastic match. Really love to see all these guys working together because it shows exactly what they can do.
Yeah.
But then, of course, the match finishes with Cedric Alexander getting the pin over the Cruiserweight Champion Buddy Murphy.
Yeah.
So this could set up a new, another feud again for the Cruiserweight Championship.
I would actually like to see a fatal 4-way for the Cruiserweight Championship as an opener for TLC or whatever. I'd like to see, fatal 4-way between these 4 guys. So I reckon it'd be good.
Yeah, definitely. And that was pretty much all of the half main roster shows. Smackdown was solid 2.5 stars for me. 205 was maybe like 3. I actually really enjoyed 205.
Yeah, for me, I'm halfway there with you. I'm probably about a 3 for SmackDown, about maybe maybe a 3 or 3.5 for 205.
So moving on to NXT.
Yeah. So let's quickly run down the NXT. So this week we obviously still in the come down mode of Takeover War Games. Still setting up some new stuff for NXT Takeover Phoenix, which is not till the end of January. So they've still got 8 full weeks of TV tapings, which I know they did some TV tapings today. I think about 3 or 4 weeks worth. But let's just run through the results from NXT. Then I'll jump into NXT UK, both episode 11 and 12. So on NXT TV this week, regular NXT TV, we had Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch defeat the Mighty. We had EC3 defeat Marcel Barthel, however they want to pronounce that. Mia Yim defeated Vanessa Bourne, and then Lars Sullivan defeated Keith Lee. So overall, it was really fun. The Mighty absolutely a super heel team now at the moment. Fans are doing the crap out of them. I like it. EC3 and Marcel Barthel was good. EC3 Marcel Barthel was good. Considering who NXT just signed, which I'll touch on later, I hope Marcel gets a little bit more of a rub here in NXT. Mia versus Vanessa was a great match. But then Lars versus Keith in the main event. Lars getting a victory over Big Keith Lee. This was the build as Lars' final match in NXT as he goes up to the main roster. So really quick, solid episode of NXT this week. Nothing really too major other than that being Lars' final match. Then we jump over across the pond where we get another double episode of NXT UK. Like I've just been saying for weeks now, they're just trying to catch up. Just want to keep touch on it. Like people feel it's weird that there's 2 episodes. I'm like, they're just trying to catch up. So let's start with episode 11. We had the tag team of Izia Brookside and Millie McKenzie defeating Charlie Morgan and Killer Kelly. I think this might have been Charlie Morgan's TV debut. I think it might have been. But really great tag team match there in the women's division. I like that. Eddie Dennis defeated Ashton Smith. Joseph Connors defeated Saxon Huxley. And in the main event, Pete Dunne defended his WWE UK Championship against one Jordan Devlin and, of course, retained. I'm not too sure how many defenses this makes it. I think he's into about 10 or 11 defenses all up. He's still... I don't know who's going to take it off him. He's too good, Pete Dunne.
You know who I would actually like to see take the NXT not the NXT Championship, sorry, the UK Championship from Pete Dunne.
What? Who?
A name that's probably in my head is Joe Coffey.
Yeah, I think Joe Coffey might, because they're in a little bit of a 6-man rivalry, which I'll touch on with episode 12, with the Coffeys and Wolfgang against Bate 7 and Dunn. So yeah, good lead to something like that. So that was a great match. I'm not too sure what Jordan Devlin's future with NXT UK is. I'll touch on why in a minute. But yeah, let's just jump on to NXT UK episode 12. So they're finally caught up with a certain thing. Tonight is the night that Rhea Ripley defends the title against Toni Storm. But yeah, let's get to the rest of the results. In the opener, Tyler Bate defeated Joe Coffey by DQ. Mark Coffey and Wolfgang interfered and cost Tyler Bate the match there. So it's like giving Tyler Bate the win. 7 and Dunn saved Bate in the end. Ligero defeated Dan Maloney. Then we had a tag team of Zach Gibson and James Drake defeated Amir Jordan and Kenny Williams. Then we had the main event. Rhea Ripley versus Toni Storm for the NXT UK Women's Championship. Finally, we can talk about it. I've known about this for, nearly 8 weeks. We've all known about it. Rhea Ripley.
Just about everyone has.
Rhea Ripley is Australia's own Rhea Ripley, full-on Australian. I know Tony's Australian too, but Rhea's full Australian. NXT UK Women's Champion. Fantastic match, brilliant match. The promos after with Triple H and actually her, congratulating Tony Storm and thanking Tony Storm and all that. It was really good to see. They're both our girls, Rhea Ripley and Tony Storm. They're both Aussies. Tony's got a little bit more of a mix with her background, but they're both our girls, so awesome stuff. Like, I'm so glad that we're caught up to that now. I think by the time we get to Christmas, we should be completely caught up with NXT UK. They keep going double episodes. But God, I'm loving NXT UK. Like, I just don't get how main roster and NXT booking, both Orlando and UK, are so different. But it's crazy. But yeah, so that was another solid week on the land of NXT. But just two really big notes. So you touched on a little bit of it earlier with the contract talk. NXT's got some contract talk as well. So two major parts. First off, they announced a brand new signing this week. A man who was just recently in Australia as early as of Monday, taking on our own Jack J. Bonza at Penrith Panthers, across the road from your house, buddy. He is an impressive man. He scares the living daylight of me, and his chops are so brutal. I'm excited what they do with him.
Are they like Keith Lee chops?
They're worse than Keith Lee chops. I saw Jack Bonza's chest was bleeding from. I mean, not that Jack Bonza couldn't give it back to him, because he did, but Walter's chops are just, they're legendary, man. I don't know. So he'll be part of the NXT UK brand. I think he's going to bring a relationship with his own promotion, WXW from Germany. So that's going to be part of the NXT UK's UK family. I guess they're going to have like a German option there, which is good. Walter's Austrian, despite everyone calling him German, but he's based in Germany. But and then there's also rumors that Major League Wrestling's ACH and Shane Strickland might be signed to NXT. It's not official, but they're very much on NXT's radar. But speaking of NXT radar and contracts, we've got to talk about the NXT UK contract situation.
Yes, that's exactly right. Let's talk about
this week, like you said, with the main roster, all these contracts ending and that, it's contract season even in NXT. So they've officially closed the doors on the NXT UK talent working independent shows in NXT in the UK. So this means guys like Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate, Trent Seven, all these sort of guys won't be able to work the independent shows. Now, they do have a relationship with Progress and ICW, similar to what NXT has with Evolve.
Yep.
So those guys are still going to be able to work with Progress. Like, Progress is still going to be able to use Tyler Bate and Trent Seven and that. But they just won't be allowed to be booked against guys like a Will Ospreay or something, because he's New Japan contracted. So they're going to be very limited. Other companies like Attack, Fight Club Pro, Defiant, they're going to be affected out of this, because now they're not going to be able to use any of them. IPW UK, plenty of companies over there are going to lose a little bit of star power. Rev Pro, I spoke about it on the Japanese, the King of Sports Universe podcast the other night. Rev Pro will be fine, because they stopped booking all the WWE NXT UK guys about a year ago, because they knew this was going to happen. So they've kind of been building it.
It was always predictable.
Oh, it was always predictable. I mean, I'm surprised it didn't happen earlier. But look, I'm going to side with Pete Dunne here. Pete Dunne come out on Twitter and said, Britt Ross is going to be fine. It is going to be fine, because NXT UK might have 20, 30 of some of the best NXT UK talents, the best UK talents out there. it's not just UK talents. So guys like Walter, Rhea Ripley, Tony Storm. You got Germans, Australians. You got Dakota Kai wrestling there a few times. But it's not just UK talents, but you got 30 pretty solid guys for the NXT roster. But that doesn't mean that's the end of the UK talent pool. I mean, you got Park, you got Zack Sabre Jr., you got Will Ospreay, you got Josh Bodum, you got David Starr. There's so much talent over there. You got our Aussie guys that are, Kyle Fletcher, Mark Davis, Sean Custom, Kellyanne, who's making a debut for Road Pro next month. There's so many talents still left. And it just opens the door for younger talent to show what they got into the other younger independent scenes. Like, it's not the end of the Brit Res. Everyone's like, oh my God, this is the end of Brit Res. It's like, no, like, are you kidding? Like, this is a way for the younger guys to really, really put their stamp on their own careers. Like, Defiant have built up some talents like Gabriel Kidd and I can't think of the other guys. My head's gone blank on some names, but there's so much talent over there. UK still, like the UK independents still have relationships with guys like Ring of Honor, Noah, New Japan, CMLL. So those guys are still going to be able to compete in the UK. So Brit Res is fine. Trust me, Brit Res is 100% fine. Just wanted to touch on that.
Yeah, so pretty much contracts up in the air for WWE this week. Seems to be that everything is falling lackluster heading into TLC. No one is really getting excited for it. But we here at the B Plus watch 10 hours of WWE, so you guys at home don't have to. You're welcome.
Yeah, 9 hours for me. I've got to fit an hour of Impact.
Not 9 hours for Mikey.
I've got to fit an hour of Impact a week, which is some weeks has been fantastic. Last couple of weeks, maybe the last 2 weeks have been very bad, but it's that time of year, unfortunately, with all wrestling companies, WWE, Impact, a lot of them, where it's holiday season. You got things like Thanksgiving, Hanukkah's, Christmas, and all that sort of stuff. So a lot of TV, regular TV, not just wrestling, it's all Thanksgiving themed, food fights and Santas and all that sort of stuff. Season where people are busy, so they're not going to be able to sit there and watch wrestling. So these shows know that they don't have to book so high at this time of year. So
that's exactly right. And speaking of Impact as well, we are going to do as the regular Jay does. We're going to leave our show. We're going to go grab some Darius and VB at local 7-Eleven because that's all we have time for today. Ladies and gentlemen, where can we find you, Mikey?
At bigboy_Mikey 86 on Twitter and Instagram. I have not changed it to Bugboy yet. I may. We'll see.
My name is C-Jaii from C-Jaii's World on Facebook and at C-Jaii's_World on Instagram. Collectively, we are known as the B Plus Wrestle on Twitter because wrestling wouldn't fit, and the B Plus Wrestling everywhere else. So that is Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. You know where to find us. iTunes as well. Feel free to drop a 5-star review if you feel so inclined because it helps us all out. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Hold one. Arm drag.
You're not doing this. Get out. Let me tell you a personal story about Vince McMahon.
You just made the list.
Sorry, no speak English.
Dummy. Goodbye and good night. Hold two. Arm bar.
This is the worst town I've ever been in.
It's still real to me, damn it.
Dummy. Hold three. The moss covered. 3-handle family good